Welcome back to the Rundown. Now, in recent years, one key nexus point of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has been focused around property rights in Jerusalem, with disputes centered on certain neighborhoods in the capital, even specific buildings, sometimes sparking wider conflicts and international intervention. Now, nowhere is the situation more potentially volatile than in Jerusalem's historic Old City, where Jewish and Arab residents jostle against each other in very close quarters. In the first segment of a special 5-part series on this potentially explosive situation, our correspondent Pierre Chandler examines a drawn-out legal battle that reached Israel's Supreme Court over whether to block the transfer to a right-wing Jewish group of the leasing rights to 2 hotels in the Old City that belong to the Greek Orthodox Church. It's a case that mixes nationalistic, religious, and even residential concerns.
ברק!
שלום. אפשר להיכנס ולראות
מישהו שם.
היחסים בסדר? כי אני רואה הדלת היא לא בדיוק דלת...
לא, יחסים סבבה.
כן?
כן. לא החלפנו שום דבר כי עד שלא היה פסק דין, אבל עוד מעט נחליף.
מה תחליפו את הדלת?
את הכל, כן, מה שצריך.
This is the entrance to the ground floor of the Little Petra Inn, the annex to the historic Petra Hotel built during the 19th century on the entrance to the Old City of Jerusalem.
תודה רבה לך, כל טוב.
Jewish Ateret Cohanim activists got a foot in the door in March. The room being unoccupied, an eviction order wasn't necessary.
Once upon a time, this was a kosher hotel. The Jews were driven out of here. There were pogroms and riots. The hotel under the Amdursky name, that was a massive, beautiful hotel, was previously built by Amzalek, another Jew by Gibraltar, is no longer in Jewish hands, and today it will be. The Greek Orthodox Church had it for a number of years, and now it will be Jewish concerns who bring it back, hopefully to its previous glory.
In June, following an 18-year legal battle, Israel's High Court upheld a lower court's decision from 2 years back that sanctioned the transfer of leasehold rights to both the Petra and the adjacent imperial hotels to the right-wing Jewish group Ateret Cohanim. The verdict dealt a final legal blow to the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate's efforts to fight the 2004 sale of leases.
What happened just now is there was an attempt to obtain a very rare legal procedure, basically a civil retrial. But there is a strong political dimension. Stalin was reputedly to have said, how many divisions does the Pope have? I think Israel may be about to find out.
Property transactions in Jerusalem's Old City are indeed some of the most politically fraught in the world.
You have the mutually incompatible narratives of 3 contradictory faiths inhabiting the same sacred and secular space in 1 square kilometer. In the United States, they have malls with more floor space than 1 square kilometer.
The Supreme Court acknowledged, quote, shadows and black holes in the moves that led to the signing of the agreements, unquote.
When you get into the convoluted transactions between Greeks and settlers, you never come away knowing who's telling the truth and who's lying. It might be a fair bet that at certain times it's everybody. It appears that this was a rogue individual in the church that did not have the authority to sell the settlers.
The presumed rogue individual was Nicholas Papademos, the church's chief finance officer, who in 2004 had obtained power of attorney from then Patriarch Irenaeus I and was behind the sale of leases to front companies based in the Virgin Islands.
They didn't have the approval from the synod because we have this synod system, so whatever we do, we decide together.
The battle is not yet over. A Palestinian Muslim is the protected tenant appointed by the church at the Imperial Hotel, whom Ateret Cohanim is trying to evict.
And I said, God, you and I alone, keep an eye on me. Protect me from these people and and keep the hotel in the hands of churches. My duty is to preserve the heritage.
The issues of both hotels is still in court because there's the issue of the management company, of those who are inside the hotels. What type of status do they have? So because it's still in court, it's not appropriate at all for me to talk about it.
The three central characters in this legal, political and religious battle, we shall call them the tenant, the activist and the priest, live parallel lives with opposite expectations, pretty much like the fragile cohabitation between Muslims, Jews and Christians in Jerusalem. Their paths only intersect in court.
I'm concerned about one thing.
Pierre Clochendler, I-24 News, Jerusalem.
Well, in later segments of this series, we'll meet some of the tenants, the actual residents of these properties, and how they are caught in this struggle there in Jerusalem's Old City.